Continuing on our divine flight to create the Amritha Parivar, we are now on the fourth leg of our journey, that is the fourth step. We have understood that the expansion of Amrit Parivar should happen in every way, through our actions, emotion, through our intellect and knowledge. We all need to move from a micro level to a macro level. After getting rid of two heavy baggages, namely mamata, the attachment, and I, the ego, we all learned how to turn karma into karma yoga as a part of our lives. Karma yoga should become a combination of self control and self sacrifice. The I-ness, the stubbornness, the anxiousness, and the yearning for the fruit of action must all eventually fade away. Every family member should practice and follow the values which are relevant, which are wholesome and holistic, so that every family becomes an Amrit Parivar. With this short introduction, let us now invite our Lakshmi Amma to help us carry on with this pilgrimage. The question and answer session can happen at the end after Amma's speech.
Brahmacharyavrati dandi sarvavedanta pandita Srimad Yogi mam prachodayadu sarvada Mukam karoti vachalam Pankam langhayati girim Yatkrapatamaham vande Paramanandamadhavam. Namaste to all of you. I'm happy to hear the summary provided. So we are ready to get into the flight. Two heavy baggages. We have reduced it to the minimum. We cannot get rid of them fully. We have tried to reduce it to the minimum. And then we learned that we should stop jogging between the Dvaita Bhavas, Sukha Dukkha, Ninda Stuti, Shitoshna, and follow a path of Samatva. And then in the third chapter, third discourse, Krishna reveals the importance of karma. Wherever we are making the mistakes, wherever our connections are either loose or not connected at all, with the result, our karma becomes a burden to us. It drags us more and more into the depths of samsara. Tension, unhappiness, anger. To add to all this, the six enemies are there. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada. Somehow or other, we should try to get rid of them also to the extent possible. So with this introduction, Arjuna felt a little easier. His mind was getting into the expansive mood. So Sri Krishna thought it is time to introduce him to more and more deeper and deeper aspects of personality development, we can say, because from the Mrita to the Amrita. So Mrita we are leaving behind, and we are yet to acquire the Amrita part of it. So in the fourth chapter, Sri Krishna decides to give him a wholesome treatment, a treatment which will affect all the three facets of the personality. Jnana Karma Sanyasa. Sanyasa, we can take it as your capacity to renounce. So, these are the three aspects, when properly integrated, lead to our personality development. Make us, in Swamiji's words, a man with capital young. Later, Krishna will say, Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. So, these are the essential ingredients which we will have to incorporate into our personality so that it becomes more and more expansive, at the same time, deeper and deeper in its analytical capacity, and slowly from mrityorma amritam gamaya, we can be on that pilgrimage. So, in this connection, Krishna comes out with another observation, that values will have to be preserved and they have to be passed on from generation to generation. In the earlier chapter, we learned the word parasparya. Parasparam bhavayanta shreya paramavapsyatha. If you want to go on the path of Shreyas, a comprehensive understanding of the totality of the existence is necessary. Here, Krishna reminds that it is not only that one person will develop this knowledge, keep it in his treasure chest. No, it is not like that. This has been coming from generation to generation, because Arjuna had a slight doubt from where this knowledge is coming, who is the originator of this knowledge, where is the origin of this knowledge. So, to put him at rest, Sri Krishna says that this is paramparagata. So, it reminds us also, if we want to develop family traditions, it should be so strongly implanted in each generation that it is passed on from one generation to another and effortlessly maintained in the family. Such a family becomes, as I said earlier, it becomes a lighthouse. And the society absorbs these values. Society also moves towards amritatva, and that is how our whole country developed that amritatva concept. So that is how Krishna says, Arjuna, you have to listen to something now which is very serious. There are three aspects to our personality: jnana, karma, and sannyasa. So, what exactly is jnana? Oh, wait, jnana, I am MSc, I am PhD, I know so many things. I am a scientist, or I am a professor. There are so many things which I know of. Haven't you heard the story of that boatman? A boatman was taking some well-known pundits across Ganges. Suddenly, there was a storm, waves started rising. So, as they were passing earlier, before the storm came, one of the pandit was asking the boatman, hey, do you know Vedanta? No, sir. Do you know yoga? No, sir. I didn't have any opportunity to study all those things. You must be knowing at least science. No, I don't know. Technology? No. Then what is your life for when you don't know any of these things? He said, that is how I live. Within a few seconds, the climate changed and the river was in, waves were coming up, and any time the boat may collapse. At that time, the boatman asked the Pandits, revered sirs, do you know swimming? He said, no, we don't know swimming. Yes, then that is the end of you. The water will enter into the boat and boat will collapse and you will all have to fight it in your own way. I know swimming. I know I can escape from here. So that is how we have all learned so many things. And what has happened? We have become dustbins, collecting so much of unwanted informations. When I think of that, no, I chide myself. I have learned so much of botany. From class 9 onwards, I was inclined to study botany. Then for intermediate botany, BSc botany, MSc botany, PhD botany. Now I have come to a stage I cannot even recognize the plants in our Vivekananda Kendra, except some hibiscus or an neem tree. So what happened to all these years we have wasted literally? We have made ourselves into dustbins. So that is the knowledge. So Sri Krishna says, this is not the knowledge. So I will tell you what exactly is the nature of true knowledge. And he start describing to Arjuna what exactly should be the knowledge. Knowledge should be, Swamiji gives us a very beautiful definition. Knowledge should be knowledge of the one truth. Science should be study, the science should lead to knowledge of one truth, that ultimate truth. So any knowledge leading to that is the real knowledge. That is why our people made two para and apara vidya and started slowly guiding the people from the apara to the para. So this knowledge, Arjuna, is parambara prapta. In all the countries in the world, probably, it is in this blessed land of ours that it has become a parambarya. This great knowledge of the oneness of the universe, the interrelated, interconnected, interdependence of everything in this universe, parasparyam we have learned. So that is something very, very unique to our culture and our country. So, Arjuna, this is the essential knowledge which has been passed on to from generation to generation, and they have come to settle in the lives of the people as Satya, Dharma, values of life. Arjuna, I want to tell you something else. You may wonder, who will be the protector of such a knowledge, isn't it? How is it passed on? What happens to this knowledge when some say Ravana was there, Kumbhakarna? So what happens to this knowledge? So you may be worrying about it. Then he comes out with that beautiful sloka. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamya. Whenever there is a decline in dharma and adharma starts rising up, I myself take birth again and again and again to contain the adharma and propagate the dharma. And in this connection, he adds a conciliatory note. I do one thing also, Arjuna, not only protecting dharma, paritranaya sadhunam. That is one thing I am very, 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 very happy to tell you. Whenever anybody is on the path of Satya and Dharma, I am with them. I will protect them. So Arjuna is happy. So he is not such a bad person, and Krishna is there. And in this context, she takes our mind to another dimension. This jnana of the oneness of the universe should expand our mind in a unique direction of accepting everything as divine, everything as part of truth. So, in that connection, Krishna tells Arjuna, whoever surrenders to me totally, by whichever path he chooses to realize me, I am always bound to protect them. See, this is the idea our Swami Vivekananda expressed in the Parliament of Religions, that we accept that all religions, we accept all religions as true. And that is how our great motherland became a mother to all those who came running to her when their own civilizations collapsed, their culture was destroyed, their lives were threatened. Where did they go running? Not to Europe or America or New Zealand. They all came to this Punya Bhumi to sit on our mother's lap. Why? Because our fundamental understanding is Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. Arjuna, so remember, there is nothing undivine in this world. Everything is divine. So I percolate in everything. In this connection, we can, from this macro level, let us try to bring it into our micro level families. So this sort of understanding is behind India's great tolerance. India is renowned for her tolerance of other religions, customs, etc. So we will absorb that part of it and incorporate in our micro families. How? See, these are the days when we find our families are, uh, there may be inter-religious marriages, intercultural marriages, interracial marriages, and these new sons-in-law or daughters-in-law, they bring their own culture and their own behavior, customs, etc. So the head of the family or the elder brothers and sisters, etc., they should be able to absorb this. If this sort of a idea is there rooted in us, we will be able to accept all of them as our own and absorb them into our family. We can make them feel one with us. They can belong to our family. Otherwise, we know what is happening. You get converted to my religion. I will not get converted to your religion. Then after some time, there is clash of interest, how the children should grow up. All that confusion will be there. But if we are rooted in this idea, even Sri Krishna can accept, yathamam pravadyandetam sadeva bhajamyaham. Then what is the problem with us? So there is some constriction in our mind. So remove that. So when we are expanding, just expand to the macro level, absorbing everything that is there in the universe. Whether it is a tree, I think on the first day I gave a taste of our valatos. Some ലോകമേ തറവാട് തനിക്ക് ചെടികളും പുൽകളും പുഴുക്കളും കൂടിത്തൻ കുടുംബക്കാർ. He says, my family members The whole universe is my family. Even the grass, even the worms, everything, they're all my family members. So this sort of a tolerant attitude or inclusive attitude, if we are able to pass on to our children also, then there will be a happy mixing up of the goodness and our families will be at peace. Otherwise, we know there are very families where they are not able to make this sort of an acceptance and they suffer because of this attitude. So, with this idea, there is another point which Sri Krishna puts up here. With this mind, all inclusiveness, tolerance, you look at our caste system. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Knowledge, commercial activity, service, then warrior like capacity. So all this, if we analyze, how did they all come about? But no two persons are alike in their appearance, in their thoughts, in their intelligence, in their capacity to love, capacity to serve. Just cannot be the uniform. So each one is different. So our forefathers were so kind. Anyway, in this society, there are multifaceted activities. So many types of services, so many types of activities. Some require highly intellectual persons, some require warrior like mentality, some require a commercial like approach, and a lot of people are needed for service activities. So why not each one choose what is good for them? And that is how Chadurvarnyamaya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasaka. It is not that you go to the collector and find you are in an SC or OBC and get it imprinted. So from generation to generation, you maintain that. And our modern politicians are so good, they will make more and more and more fissures in the society to create more and more vote banks. So with all this in mind, our great Swamiji will always say, if at all there is to be an excellent version of dividing the society, it is the Chaturvarnya system, he says. So, with this mentality, when we look at the people around us, our mind also will expand. Yes, he has come to serve. That doesn't mean that he is lower than me. The work he does is also part of the mega work which goes on in the universe, which protects the universe, which takes care of the interactions in the universe, interrelationships in the universe. So there is no single work which is lower, menial. Everybody is making their contributions. Just like that, in the family also, in the last class also, I said, everyone should make their contributions to make the other people happier. Can I serve you? I give it as a Mahavakya to some of my girls who come here. Keep that in mind. Can I help you? Can I serve you? In what way I can help you? So if this comes out from you off and on, then you will find everybody is happy with you. Everybody wants to care for you, love you, share everything with you. So it is an elementary principle. This tolerance, and if it is understood from the depth of our understanding that truth is one, then nothing to beat it. So the personality development, this knowledge is very, very important. So, jnana, karma, and sannyasa, the three facets of the personality. So, this is a knowledge which will make you a very, very expansive person, inclusive person, lovable person. What a personality, such a lovable personality. In another prayer with about Sharadamma is said in Malayalam, ആരിലും കുറ്റങ്ങൾ കാണാതിരിക്കുവാൻ ആരോടും നീചവാക്കോതിടായ്വാൻ ആർക്കും മനോദുഃഖം ഞങ്ങളാൽ തോന്നായ്വാൻ കാക്കണേ തൃപ്പാദം കുമ്പിടുന്നു. Oh Mother, bless me that I cannot see anything wrong with anybody. No mistake. That my eyes refuse to see the mistakes or errors committed by others. Let my tongue never utter a word which will hurt another. Let there be no behavior from my side which will create heartburn in the people with whom I have to react. So for that, you grant me. So what happens? This is the knowledge which will help us to create a very harmonious family, a harmonious blending of Jnana Karma Bhakti. So Jnana, we should understand, it is not the collection of information, material, etc., about the dying matter around us, dying technologies around us. A technology is valid today, not valid in the next few years. So what do we gain by that? So that is not what is important, but to be rooted in this exemplary knowledge of the oneness of the universe, and I am also part of it. The macro, we began with that. Swamiji said, no, the macrocosm and the macrocosm are made of the same plan, on the same plan. So, whatever we find in the macrocosm, we have to adopt, accept, and make it part of our life. So, with all this knowledge, is there one simple method by which we can absorb it? Some technology by which, no, for example, take an iron. Earlier, the people who come to iron our clothes, etc., they had to bring a heavy iron container into that, burn charcoal first and put the charcoal into this, and with with great effort, you have to do all that. So is there a simple thing? Yes, now we have simple electric gadgets by which we can iron our clothes. Similarly, mixies are there, pressure cookers are there, grinders are there. Simplify the technology, Krishna, is there a simple technique? All this is very difficult for me. Tell me something by which I can simply absorb the macro into my microwave. Krishna says, yes, I will tell you that now. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihir Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam Brahmeva Tena Gandavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Here is a plug, supra powerful plug by which we can attach ourselves to the macrocosmic whole truth principle. Very simple, elementary. All we have to do is chant this sincerely, understanding its meaning, plug it on to that ultimate truth. What a beautiful thing, isn't it? Hmm? To keep up the divinity within a flame, each individual should always strive to keep himself connected with the Supreme. That is it. If this jnana, karma, bhakti, etc., if they have to be alive in us, we have to find a way in which we can plug ourselves to the Supreme. For this, Sri Krishna provides a supra powerful plug, which does not give any shock to whomsoever handles it. All our immersion heater or electric thing, everything will give us some shock sometime or other, whether it is a raining or lightning is there, you have to be very careful. Don't use such gadgets. Nothing at all. Rain or storm, water or Anywhere you can use this particular mission. Plug your mind with this great thought that everything I do, everything I think, everything I offer is all permeated by you, the great Brahma. If this plug can be plugged on to the Supreme, then it leads to our health, wealth, and happiness. Sri Krishna has given us such a beautiful way of connecting ourselves with His. Whoever undertakes all activities with this wholesome prayer will reap untold dividends. That is why the great religious institutions, there are very many families where this has been adopted as the Bhojana Mantra. This is the, before taking food, we in Vivekananda Kendra, Ramakrishna Mission, everywhere, we chant this so that the food which is there in front of us, the person who is taking the food, the act of digestion, everything is offered to the great Supreme Self. Then, why we keep it only on our dining table? Why not we try to incorporate this into all our activities, to our office table? Why even to our bedroom? No problem. Everywhere, because this doesn't give any shock. It is such a universally benevolent idea that you will never get a shock from that. No problem at all. So Krishna has been giving us this. This is the way in which our microcosmic personality can be dissolved in the macrocosmic whole. So this sort of dissolving the doll, the salt doll gets dissolved in the seawater. That is how, with this thought, let us constantly remember it. When we are working, when you are drinking a little bit of water, maybe you are drinking Coca-Cola. Or as Sri Ramakrishna told Girish, all right, when you are taking your drink, doesn't matter, think of me. Think of me. Who? Think of the God Almighty. So this, remember, this is one of the most important stanza in the Bhagavad Gita. This sort of a supra plug which Krishna has offered to us. So with this, we do our work, everything, they all become offerings to the God. So Sri Krishna here mentions very many ways of converting our work into offering. So Jnana, we have seen. So work, purification of work is by removing I, my, mine, and making it also an offering to the God. Then the work gets purified and it will never give any kickback. It will always take us to health, wealth, and happiness. Now, this about this work, how to purify it, etc. In almost every chapter, Krishna is never contented with telling us how to improve our working habits, how to improve our working attitude, how to improve the content of our work. Every chapter we will find Krishna is going on advising us. So let us leave it like that and go to the next. So we have seen knowledge is search for oneness, search for truth, satyam param dhimahi. So work should be this sort of, every act of ours should be a link up with the Supreme, and there is a supra formula for that. So work also is taken care. Then what is next? Jnana Karma Sanyasa. Sannyasa, we can take it as renunciation. Sannyasa doesn't mean wearing ochre robes and going about finding fault with everything in this society. No. Krishna is very, very particular. Again and again, he emphasizes this, that karma, um, this Tyaga is the basic note in the sannyasa. And what is to be given up? Oh, I have stopped taking potatoes. I have stopped seeing cinemas. I don't go to this and this place again. No, that is not. Sarva karma phala tyaga. That is what. The tyaga which leads to sannyas. Tyaga which leads to sannyas is sarva karma phala tyaga. So when we are able to do our work in totally disinterested way, removing the I, mine, and my, then it is a pathway leading to sannyas. Probably in the last chapter, Moksha Sanyasa Yoga, we will get the fullest expansion of this idea. Hmm? In this context, which is very, very valid for our micro families, Krishna gives another slogan. Yadrichalabasantushto dvandvatito matsara samasiddhavasiddhaucha krutvapina nibadhyate. It is about work, but we can make it very, very relevant in our families, in our institutions, in our organizations. Yadrichalabhasantushta. Never ask for any special favors for you. Whatever is given to you, maybe in terms of food, drink, work, service, reward, including punishment. Yadrichalabha santushta. Dvandvatito, above Sugha Dukha, etc., Ninda Suri, etc. Krishna says that is the ideal way to get peace of mind. Because you never ask anything from anybody. I told on the very first, second day, I think, Jivane yavadadanam syat pradhanam tatodhikam. Whatever I take from my life, let my giving be more and more and more. So if we can develop that attitude, then we will never be unhappy. I had a wonderful experience sometime when I was in touring South Africa. I always remember in this context. I went to a school. They had asked me to come at 1 o'clock, but when I went there, they were not ready. The hall, etc., was not ready. Then the headmaster, he was an Indian settled in Africa. He came and told me, Madam, so sorry. Little more time. See, I have 5 types of teachers here. I was very much interested because I always like to hear about Karma Yoga. 5 types of teachers. I see. What are they? There is one group who is never bothered at all about what is happening. They will never offer any help, any cooperation, nothing at all. There is a group like that, indifferent to everything. They will only sit and criticize everything. In Kerala, there is one group called Nokku Kutti. They will never work, but they will never allow anybody else to work. Even if they work, they want a coolie for themselves. There is a group like that. It is a curse of Kerala. So there is a group like that. Then secondly, there is a group who floats. They're like floats. They will float on the surface. In every big, big functions and all, you will find them well dressed, standing behind the president or the speaker, or everybody will ask, who is that? Very fine person. Okay. Then there is a third group. Third group is like a kite. They will go up, they will never come back. They get. Then there is another group, which is like a balloon. They will do good work, but one slight comment you make, like a balloon, they get deflated. And the fifth group, very few people, yadricha labhasamtushto, dvandvatito, vimatsara. They have no quarrel with anybody. They will go on doing their work to the perfection they can and contribute to the welfare. See, I have 70 teachers. Only 5 or 6 belong to this last category. So please forgive me if I am late a bit. Now you know why sometimes in our organizations and all that, we are not able to conduct everything so very perfectly because it is a mixture of these 5 types. So to which group should we belong? Of course, we should belong to the last group. Yadricha labha santushta. After hearing all this, let us decide that we shall belong to this last group. Yadricha labha santushta. So Sri Krishna then gives lot of examples of how to transform your action into yajnas. So many different type of yajnas he describes. And one thing I want to tell you, after you listen to all this, immediately or the next day, you should read Gita again so that these thoughts will get impressed in you more and more, along with the meaning which emanate from each of Sri Krishna's slokas. So that will make it, once I told you, I think we have to pick up some good slokas, keep it as a pulse, put it in our bag, and after completing the 18th chapter, we will create a Bhagavad Gita uh, Japamala, a Japamala, remembering some of these important slokas which we will pick up. So, Parasparya, like that, Klaibyam Masmagama Partha. So, like that, we'll pick up some very important stanzas, maybe 51 or maybe 108, and create a Japamala so that we can go on using that rosary to remind ourselves how to keep ourselves as Amritasya Putra. In this connection, Krishna also gives a very valuable idea that you don't think you can escape being a seeker of jnana. Jnana is a must because nahi jnanena sadasham pavitramiha vidyate. Nothing can be a greater purifier, whichever may be the cleaning solution you may buy according to the advertisements or through the Amazon or anything like that. But nothing can come like the jnana about anything. And this jnana, we have said, this must be rooted in the truth of the entire knowledge of the entire cosmos. So that is our jnana. Once again, work. Let us remember, work, because most of the time we are engaging ourselves in work of one type or other. So let us remember what we have to remove. I, my, mine. This has become the mantra to remove from our this thing. When you remove all this, work becomes a kamadhenu. Sahayajna praja srishtva purovacha prajavati anena prasavishyadvam esha utkamata. So, if you want to convert your work into a kamadhenu, we have to remove from this all our man-made structures. You should remove man-made ideas. You should remove pay promotion prospect. Revered Ranganatha and Vijay always used to say pay promotion, 3 P's, pay promotion prospect. That is all you have to talk about, he'll say. So remove all that, make our work a kamadhenu. And such a work which you do for Lokahita, for Loka Samgraha, having no thought of gaining anything for oneself, that will elevate you from the micro to the macro level of your personality. Sarva karma bhalatyaga, Sri Krishna says us that. So, sannyasa is not just wearing the ochre robes, but it is sarva karma bhalatyaga. That we have to practice it, not to yearn for the result of the work, but let the work comes out, as Swami says, spontaneously from the depths of our heart, just like the lotus comes out of the water and opens up, blossoms up. In the same way, work should incessantly flow from us, but for Lokahita. And that way you will find it will, this sort of a Tyaga, Phala, Phalatyaga automatically will lead you to the ultimate sannyasa. Sannyasa means you are not interested in anything, you don't want anything for yourself. That sort of a stage it will come to. Now, lastly, the question is, can there be a person, in Karma Yoga, Sri Krishna answered a question. He said, a person like that, Karma Yogi, yes, he said, Janaka was there. So let us ask ourselves a question. Is there a person on whom these three are harmoniously integrated in the personality? Jnana, Karma, Sanyasa. Of course, Sri Krishna is one, we can easily say. But who could be the second person for us? None other than our great Swami Vivekananda. So let us, this little knowledge we have gathered, Karma, Jnana, Karma, Sannyasa, three flowers. Today we shall offer to our great master, Swami Vivekananda, who was an epitome of a harmonious combination, harmonious blending of these three great factors which make up the human personality. Thank you.